Hello! Welcome back to the Lunch Pail Labs channel. Today we're going to dive into product-led growth, which I've been seeing all of the hot takes on Twitter, on social, on LinkedIn, think pieces, podcasts, all sorts of things talking about product-led growth and whether that is a strategy that makes sense for a lot of companies and startups. And I think the question is, or the answer is, it depends, and there's some interesting emerging approaches that are related to integration, so I wanted to dive into that. But before we get kind of too deep on things, let's just take it all the way back to what are some of the dominant growth strategies that companies are using and thinking about and implementing today. And yeah, I think before we can really talk about product-led growth and its merits or non-merits, really diving into what was the dominant strategy for a very long time, which is sales-led growth. And when we talk about product-led growth, sales-led growth, marketing-led growth, any dash-led growth, really what we're talking about is a go-to-market motion. And in the cases of sales-led growth, it's a go-to-market motion where the primary focus is on acquiring customers through direct sales efforts. So you're going to have a sales team, you're going to have sales reps, and the way that you grow is getting those sales reps out there and selling your software, product, service. Some really big pieces around this sales-led growth are you'll definitely need, to make it successful, you'll definitely need a strong sales team. You'll need personalized training and support typically of the customer. And it really is only for products that have some premium pricing because it's so expensive. So you'll want to make sure that if you're hiring people to go out there and sell your product, that the sale is worth it. Some examples of sales-led growth companies. A lot of enterprise-focused companies tend to lean a little bit more sales-led growth, but IBM, Oracle, SAP, your massive, humongo legacy software companies. But there are some large downsides of sales-led growth. One, as I mentioned before, a high cost of sales. You don't really get a lot of benefit from sales-led growth if each sale is just $100 or $100 a month. There's also longer sales cycles. So with sales-led growth, you're building relationships, you're engaging in conversations. So it's not this, oh, I see your product, I sign up, I start using it, I never interact with you kind of flow. And also very dependent on the talent that you are able to hire and secure on your sales team, how effective the sales-led growth method is going to be. And so for a long, long time, even before digital marketing, you were a business that sold stuff to other businesses. You had sales-led growth. Then came along this thing called product-led growth, which really was coined in 2016. So it's still fairly new as a go-to-market motion and strategy. And it was coined by venture capitalists at a firm called OpenView. I'll list in the show notes the original manifesto, the Futures PLG, and this strategy kind of caught on like wildfire amongst other software companies. And it's a go-to-market motion where the product itself is the main tool for acquiring, activating, and retaining customers. And especially when we say sales-led and product-led, doesn't necessarily mean that your company doesn't engage in maybe a mix of those. I think most companies now have some parts of both processes going on, but your predominant strategy for kind of growing your product and growing your customer base is by just having a great product. And kind of how it works is you'll offer either like a free product, a free version, or a free trial, and end users, not necessarily like the buyer. So in the sales-led growth, you're potentially not really interacting with the person who's going to use your software. It's the executive who makes the buying decisions. In a product-led growth context, the focus is very much who is using your software. They're the ones that are going to sign up on the free plan. They're going to tell their teammates about it, and that's how you're going to get distribution and penetration into companies. And so with this model, some things that are very important are, virality and network effects. You need a quick time to value if you have a product that it might really take months before people see the benefit. Not the real best for product-led growth strategies. Gotta be self-serve on the end user's part. And it's really driven by a great product, a great UX. That's going to cause people to upgrade. Several examples of product-led growth companies. I think a lot of the current startup darlings are product-led growth companies. Companies like Calendly, Figma, Canva, all embody parts of the main components of PLG. But there's downsides to product-led growth, PLG, which I think have started, especially in this current 2023 funding environment. A lot more companies have been more vocal about, we got to do things that are going to get us to our next revenue milestone. And a couple of things are, free users, they need support. It is not a negligible, just because they are using your product for free doesn't mean the cost of their usage is free. And support is one of the places where if you have a lot of free users, you might end up having to spend a lot on support. And difficulty monetizing free users. There is a wonderful thread by the founder of Rainforest app of why he abandoned this sort of product-led growth methodology, because I think implicit in PLG is this thought process that, free users will eventually become high-paid users that we care about and want to nurture, and we can kind of grow them along the funnel. But he found that, hey, the companies, the users who were paying the company like thousands of dollars a year versus $0 a year, they had very similar profiles. It's just the free users didn't value the product as much. And so wanting to double down on the people who saw the value and wanted to engage with the product and talk about the product, double down on what was attractive for them. And then kind of in the same vein, especially if you're completely PLG, like no sales team, no custom contracts, no, you don't do enterprise, which I think most companies today, even if they are primarily PLG, they will have a subset that will deal with these large enterprises, but it can be more difficult without focus on that. And then we've got another option, which I might be a little biased, but think combines some great aspects of both of these predominant models, and that's this integration and ecosystem-led growth. And I'd say integration-led growth is a subset of ecosystem-led growth, which is a broader paradigm around activating partnerships and other companies and products and services and solution providers in order to drive the growth of your product. But in a nutshell, it's, a go-to-market motion where the primary driver of customer acquisition and expansion is the establishment of strategic integrations with other platforms. And for this, again, it's not going to be for every sort of company, but you're really going to be deep into partnerships. You're really going to be thinking about marketplace presence, like what kind of tools should I be integrating into? And your tool itself needs to be something that can be interoperable. So not every software company will kind of fall in this category, but here are some of the drivers. And there are some companies who have fallen into this, who kind of use this strategy. HubSpot, Shopify, Atlassian, all of their ecosystems are more, like just the ecosystems are drive more than $1 billion in value. So very, very large. And what even really prompted this video is not only just seeing like Twitter threads and all this stuff about like everybody saying blah, blah at PLG, but I watched this really interesting podcast interview with the founder of Cycle on his journey from going from product-led growth to, some more direct sales, but then also some more integration-focused growth. So I'll make sure to also put that in the show notes below. But in his story, they had a ton of free users. They weren't really converting or doing anything. And I think sometimes you have to be careful in a PLG motion that you're not spending a lot of time acquiring users who just aren't your core ideal customer profile anyway. Like, that was never really the part of PLG, just random free users. So it can be a line to toe. But in Cycle's case, they have kind of gotten away from product-led growth, and now what they've seen very interesting is more like partnership growth, even like integration-focused growth. He mentioned that they had launched Linear and HubSpot integrations, now have marketplace presence on their integration marketplaces. And for them, those are really strategic integrations because their main competitor as a feedback tool, didn't integrate. So now 80% of their new signups come from the HubSpot or the Linear marketplaces. So definitely really cool. If PLG isn't really working for you, integration, ecosystem-led growth might be something to explore. And again, like I said, not for everyone. Typically, you're going to be a B2B business. B2C businesses, totally different ball game. You'll want to be a piece of software that really can be used with other pieces of software. There's some categories where that may not be true. And then if your customers are truly using your tool with other tools in their workflows, there's prime opportunity to identify marketplaces where it might make sense to integrate. And that is all. Is product-led growth dead? Is integration-led growth the maybe replacement for this product-led growth without us all just hiring tons of massive sales teams and rah-rah-rahing there? I don't know. Would love to hear from you and what you think.